Hello. Hello, greetings everybody. This is a video just to talk about the Art History 1 course. It's an online course. I want to talk about the way the course works and how it's different from other courses. I want to talk about the first couple projects and just some basic introductory stuff for the course. So welcome. You're in an online art history course. My name is Mike Kahn. I'm the instructor for the course. I've taught it many times in the past, mostly as a face-to-face course and 3 times as an online course. So you're going to have a combination of things that are happening in this class. Those combinations are reading from a text, watching videos, taking online quizzes, answering some essay questions online, and then a final project where you have a choice, and that's the class. It's condensed because we're taking a 16-week course and we're making it an 8-week course. So we're kind of taking things and tightly packing them. And today, after I finish this video, which I'll upload to YouTube, I'm going to take the content from last semester, which was 16 weeks, and condense it down to 8 weeks. So I'm going to be changing the dates. I imagine it will take me a couple hours, but I'm going to try to make it as seamless as possible. It is within the realm of reason or possibility that I make a mistake when I'm putting things together. So if you find as you're going through the course that anything is not quite working out, like the dates aren't meshing up, or something isn't opening, or there's some technical problem, what you got to do is you got to email me, okay, at conm@iecc.edu. I'll have links all over the place in the D2L page, and let me know, because sometimes things happen and I don't know. I see it from my perspective. I don't necessarily see it from your perspective, and the only way I know if there's a problem is if you email me. And that's one of the weird things about online classes. So let me talk for a while about how this class is different from typical classes. If you've never taken an online class, or if you haven't taken what's called an asynchronous class. So asynchronous classes are classes that don't have meeting times, okay? So we don't have a meeting time. We don't go to a classroom. We do not meet on Mondays from 8 to 9. The way this class works is you do it when you have time. So you choose your time. And it's all mediated through video. And sometimes it's going to be me talking to a video, which this is just the in-camera on my Mac computer. And sometimes I have a better microphone, but right now I'm just using the in-house microphone. So the quality of this video is going to be a little mediocre. It's not bad, but most of the time it's going to be me, like a talking head, right? Trying to communicate the things that need to be worked out through this class. And these videos will be posted on YouTube and then shared through the D2L page. So you can just watch them from the D2L page, or you can go to YouTube and watch them there. And then I will mix in some videos that are pre-existing, that other people have created, other content creators, either other YouTube personalities or videos from art history series. There's a real famous one from the 1980s that's called The Art of Western Civilization, and it's by Michael Woods. It's very good. It's a little dated, but the content is the same, and I'll use a lot of those videos too. So I kind of do a mix of me talking and then other people verifying and talking as well, because often the quality of those videos is much better than what I can create. And I have my own limitations too. I know the content really well. I have a master's degree and I'm finishing a PhD. And I've read this entire thing and many other art history books. And I've been to these places too. I've traveled to Europe. I've lived in Venice for 2 summers and then traveled all around, looking at different famous museums and churches and sites where the art history is located. So I know these things that we are going to be looking at. I know them really well, and I'm speaking from authority and knowledge and experience, which is really important, that somebody has experienced the art, right? But I'm just one person, and I'm just a community college instructor, and there's other people out there that are much more intelligent than I am and much more articulate and have higher degrees from better universities, and so we want to get some of their information too, and it's free and available. And it's nice to verify, to make sure that the person who's talking isn't just making stuff up. If you have multiple people saying the same thing, then you can say, oh, well, okay, maybe there's something there, right? Concerning the book, we're going to be using Jensen's Art, a Western Tradition. So this is my book, which looks probably different than yours. It's the teacher's edition, so it has more, and it's this one is the full, complete, combined version of art history. So it's going from Paleolithic art all the way to contemporary art, which this class is an Art History 1, which will go from prehistoric or Paleolithic art to the Renaissance. That's kind of the breaking point. So the difference between Art History 1 and Art History 2 is not that one is more difficult than the other one. It's not like Algebra 1 and then Algebra 2. It's more like a division of a time, because you can't fit all of art history into one class. There's just too much content. So what you do is you split it in half, and you go from the old stuff to the Renaissance, which is a good division of time. Right? So you can think of like cave paintings to Michelangelo, and then Art History 2 tends to be Michelangelo all the way up to, say, Andy Warhol or Damien Hirst or any of the contemporary artists. So we're going to be focusing on some of the old art and then leading up to ancient Greece and then Rome, and then working our way to the Renaissance. We'll also look at Gothic art and the Romanesque and a few other things along the way. But we're going to use this text. It's called Jensen's. You can get it at the bookstore. You can get it on Amazon. You might even be able to look through the iShare library and try to find it. We're using the 8th edition. The 7th edition will work as well. It's very similar. I'm using the 7th edition, and they're virtually the same thing. They've just made a little bit of changes. I think the 6th edition, it gets a little wonky, right? Okay, so there's a text, and the text is important in this class. We will use it. I'm not just saying buy a text and then we aren't going to use it. The reason why is because all the quizzes that you take in the class, there's online quizzes, they're based on this text. So they're very specific questions related to things that are written in the text. So if you have the actual text, the right one, that's listed in the syllabus that you buy at the bookstore, you can follow along in those quizzes and you'll find the answers. It's in there, right? So now I've taught this class before, and I'm relatively intelligent, right? So I know that some people are not going to buy the text. I understand that, and some people are just going to play the game of I will Google the answers, I will look it up, I'll just make it up as I go. And you might be able to get by, I can tell. I can tell by the essay questions when people start answering them if they have the text or if they don't. Um, so I would say if you really want an A and you want to make the class easy, get the text. If money's the issue and you're just dirt poor, which I've been there, you can get creative too. You can try to find it on the iShare. That's another way. You can go to the library and look it up, and through our IACC system, you're connected to every state university library in the entire state of Illinois, and there's a whole lot of books. Like if you go up to University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, their library is bigger than all of our campuses put together. No joke. It's a huge building, and it's got a million books. It's like the second largest library in the nation, right? It's got like 7 floors and just vast amounts of books. And I bet you one of these is there, and you can get it shipped to your local library if you learn how to do that. And if you don't know how, go talk to your librarian or your the media assistant. That's what their job is for. Or you can buy it used. I mean, there's a lot of different options. I know. Who knows? You might be able to find some PDF of it online from some sketchy website, right? So anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here, but if you get the book, it goes a lot easier. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Of course, I have no way of verifying whether you get the book. That's your game. So we'll be using the book. There's online quizzes that you'll have to take, and they correspond with the modules. There's also modules that are set up for I kind of break the class into 8 parts. So since there's 8 weeks, it kind of breaks up into a kind of even amount there. The very first thing that you do in the class is introduce yourself. That's easy. It's just a part to just say who you are, and other people can kind of look at that, just as a way of trying to see who's in the class. I think right now there's only 9 or 10 people enrolled in this particular class, so it's kind of a smaller class, but it makes no difference to me. It's just the amount of grading I have to do. And then the next thing you'll do is a short kind of write up on just what is your idea of what is art. So thinking about this kind of very broad question, and that's a question that you see in a lot of art classes. It's kind of a philosophical question about what is art, why do human beings make art, and obviously there's no right or wrong answer. Some of it comes down to what you view as creative output for humans. So for example, some people view art as imitation, meaning that when you look out into the world, you see beautiful things and people want to recreate it. So they see a vase with flowers and they want to paint that vase with flowers and try to make it as specific as possible. And it's almost as if art is a reflection of whatever you see in nature, and you are trying to show the beauty of nature on a canvas, in a sculpture. And that way we would say art is imitation of nature, imitation of things that we see as beautiful. Other people would say that art is an expression of feelings, of emotions, and a way of communicating what's inside. So in that way, art is an internal thing. Art is something that we have deep inside of us. Human beings have to create. Human beings have to express themselves, and art is the vehicle. Of course, you can express yourself through music, express yourself through dance, express yourself through language. But one of the main forms, one of the earliest ways that human beings express themselves is through visual means, through painting a picture, through coloring, through drawing. We see this with children. Children have a desire, most children do, to draw, to make things, because it's a primal way of communicating feelings, fears, dreams, desires, and you make it in this visual format. So that's one way that you can view art. There's many other ways. There's some people that view art as decoration. Some people view art as design for life. Some people view art as institutional, meaning that art doesn't get, art is not art until it's codified and classified by the institutions. That's a whole theory that you can look into. There's art as social commentary, or art as social change. Like, art is a way to make a positive impact on your society, right? That's kind of more of a contemporary definition of art. So there's an introductory chapter that kind of talks about, people making different things, and it starts by showing a Copley picture. I think it shows this one, and this would be an example of art as imitation, a person trying to paint as realistically as possible. And then it goes on and shows an Andy Warhol and a Byzantine type Madonna, right? There's Andy Warhol with the golden color of Marilyn Monroe, and this is from the Byzantine painting. It's making correlations, saying that even though they're from drastically different time periods, they're kind of exploring similar themes. So you can read that or glance over that if you want to, but basically I just want you to think about how would you define art, and then write about that. And there's no right or wrong answer. I just want you to seriously consider it. Now, when you do the essay part of the class, this is a gripe or a personal thing that just kind of like grinds my gears, is that students tend to want to write one-sentence answers. And my response to that is, if you write one-sentence answers, I'll give you one-sentence grades. Like, write something. This is a college class. Don't give me a little text message answer, right? Think out what your response is, and put a little bit of effort, right? I'm not going to grade you tough on a grammar, but I want to see that you actually considered the question. Even if it's a simple question, sometimes the simplest questions are the most difficult questions, right? That's what college is. We consider questions, and we try to look at it from every angle. We try to learn from it. That's one aspect of college. That's the classic, the reason why college even started. It goes back to Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. They were asking questions and seeking answers, and doing it through public forum and debate. That's where college started. And so if you're in college, engage in that activity. This is like the only time in your life where you get to engage in these questions as a how can I put this, you are given an opportunity to during a certain part of your life to explore ideas and explore questions related to the meaning of life. Some of these questions that people have been asking for a long time, and it's socially acceptable for you at this time to explore this. So take advantage of that, right? At this time, you are given a socially accepted time to read interesting books and gain knowledge. So do it, embrace it, own it. Sorry, I'm getting a little philosophical here, but I've been thinking lately about how college has changed over the years, and how sometimes students don't see the value anymore, or kind of see it as just like a hoop to a jump through, which in some ways it is, right? A college class is a tool for advancement in a career or to get your degree. But there's value in just having knowledge, because when you have knowledge, it gives you power, it gives you validity, it like makes you a better person. Okay, enough of that. Sorry, I went on a rant. Back to the class. This class is different because you won't have meeting times. It's going to be up to you. There won't be as much instruction. There's going to be more self-mediated learning, which means that you are responsible. Let's get my finger. You are responsible for the class, okay? I'm not going to hound you. I'm not going to send you emails saying, hey, you aren't doing well. You can see online how you are doing. So you will find that either you really like this class or you really don't. And that just kind of depends on what type of person you are. If you like a lot of help, if you like being in contact with a teacher, it's probably not the class for you just because of the way that it's delivered. But if you like a lot of freedom and you like to learn by yourself, and you don't like all the social part of school, this type of class eliminates that 100%, right? You don't have to get in a car, you don't have to drive to a class, you don't have to put up with weird classmates. You just have the content itself, and you like learning it, which some people really like and some people don't. But that's what this class is going to be like. So if you get anything out of this video, know that this class is very different from a traditional class, and you have to be ready for that. You have to be prepared, okay? So take a look at the modules, do the introduction, answer the first question, what's your definition of art, or what is art? And then you'll get into some of the chapters. So chapter 1 talks about Paleolithic art. I think I've made a short video on that. And chapter 2 probably talks about the ancient Near Eastern art. And there's quizzes that go along with those chapters. So if you have any questions or any concerns, email me at conm@iecc.edu, and I would be really happy to answer any questions you have, even if they're technical things, or if it's content stuff. So thank you for joining the class. I hope you have a good semester, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you. Bye.